guys, and welcome back to another edition of the Hillside Club. I'm James Martin III. Sitting alongside me is Rob Cardini.
Sure.
Man, this is our fifth episode.
Yep.
This is where there's no hot takes, just real ones. And man, Rob actually, was just out there on the West Coast. Got to feel a little bit of Vegas. You felt like the 23-24 Pistons, or
Oh man. Let's put it this way. I'm going to set the over-under for hours I sleep tonight at 11 and a half. I genuinely think I might get 12 hours sleep tonight. But I think that's the right way to do it. I didn't want to go to Vegas and leave saying that I wish I did more. I could have done more, but It was a really good time. It was my first time ever being in Vegas. Went for a construction expo with some of my family. That was really cool to see. The whole Las Vegas expo center is maybe the biggest building and setup I've ever seen.
Gigantic.
I have no idea. I can only imagine what other expos look like in there. But no, really cool time. Vegas was sick. It was nice to get in the warm weather.
I don't know. I don't know if you felt like this when I was in Vegas. It feels like an artificial city. I don't know how to explain it. It feels like it's great for a week.
A week? I think a week is too much.
Yeah, honestly.
I think you got
that's max.
A 4-day max, 3-night max, and then you start thinking to yourself, yeah, I gotta get it. I mean, I get what you mean. Yeah, I mean, it is very artificial. Think about it. They just put a city right in the middle. There's nothing really. You reach a quarter, everything's gone. I mean, the strip is crazy. Just everything is there to just it's sell. They're always
I feel like it's like Disneyland.
But for adults.
For adults.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was a really cool place, a great experience. I mean, I had a really cool time. I mean, Allegiant Stadium might be the coolest looking stadium I've ever seen. I know people hate the domes and just hate that generic look, but when you drive by that thing, I drove by it, I was like, I feel like I'm on a movie set and this is a starship or something. It's what's the word? It's almost intimidating to look at.
Yeah, when I flew in, I didn't fly in at the direction my window side of the plane. I couldn't see Allegiant. I could see the city skyline, but on my way out, you could see Allegiant, and literally just felt like I was looking at a Star Wars spaceship. I was looking at and it's fully black. The ceiling is I don't even know how to it just felt. And I kind of like it. I like the new architecture of a lot of these stadiums. I know everyone's upset, but even you look at that new one, the new DC renderings.
Yeah,
those
that looks really cool.
Sick. I mean, I think Chicago's gonna have one. The Browns pretty soon. The Chiefs. The Titans' new stadium looks like it's a PlayStation or a PlayStation 3. It looks pretty cool though.
The Bills will be done this year, I think.
There's a lot of domes. The Bills, I guess they really want to stick with that home field advantage, but they're not getting a Super Bowl anytime soon then, so that's
all right. Nobody wants to go to Buffalo anyway for a Super Bowl. That's just not a good enough attraction. That's even though Cleveland's going to get a new stadium, no one wants to go to Cleveland for a Super Bowl. Absolutely not.
know, I don't.
Yeah, no one does.
I don't know. I
know Detroit got a Super Bowl in the past, but I think days like that are just over.
What cities have you been to in the Midwest?
The Midwest? I don't think I've been to it depends on what you really I'm sure there's a true definition of the Midwest, but I don't do people consider Pittsburgh as the Midwest? No,
it's
right?
in the Rust Belt. So it's the reason I don't think it's part. I feel like the culture itself is Midwest culture, but the state of Pennsylvania.
I think that's the furthest I've gone. Yeah. We're talking towards the Midwest, I think that, and then I know West Virginia is not the Midwest either. It's the same thing as Pittsburgh. So no, I've never really been to the Midwest.
Yeah,
but
the state of PA is Northeast.
Yeah,
that once you get to Western Pennsylvania, I feel like you're part of the Midwest. The culture
has that feel to it for sure. But yeah, no, Vegas, really good time, exhausting time, but had a lot of fun. So was able to gamble a little, have a little fun at the tables. So
you go plus.
Yeah.
All right.
We did. We
I guess in a sense you don't feel like 23-24 Pistons.
No. Negative. But
speaking of the NFL though, we had some huge news come out of the NFL, and we were just speaking of Pittsburgh and the AFC North. Baltimore Ravens just picked up Maxx Crosby. I mean, and I saw this come through, and my initial thought was, I wonder what Joe Burrow is feeling. Just thinking, I got to go up against one of the league's best every time I play division matchup. You got Myles Garrett on the Browns, TJ Watt on the Steelers, and now you're going to bring over Maxx Crosby with the Ravens. That's tough. That's 6 games a year.
You know he had to be mad. You just know he saw that alert and was like, dude, are you serious? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's just unfazed at this point. Yeah. I don't know if you really can be, because I think you just look at what other teams are doing in your division and you just kind of think that your team doesn't do the same. I mean, they have, obviously on the offensive side of the ball, they spend a lot of money on their weapons, but defensively, not really the case. I think Henderson just walked.
Yeah.
Or is he still a free agent now? Why am I blanking on this? But prediction comes true. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's still a whole thing. There's offers with him, and I don't know. I just, like you said, I mean, that was kind of my initial thought too, because it's like, okay, the Ravens get another player. Ravens have so many free agent signings. It feels like every year they're making a splash move. So, they're always aggressive. They have to be in a win now mode. I mean, they have just so many players where if it's not now, it's never. Obviously, you have to try to get Lamar that elusive first ring. More like he has to really try to get it, because they've had plenty of insane rosters.
Here we go.
Their front office is doing the job, but somebody else isn't when it matters. So, really good.
We gotta chill. Lamar,
we have to chill. Okay,
we gotta relax here.
Okay, he's the only quarterback.
Lamar has never had a true wide receiver one.
Only quarterback to waste a number one offense and a number one defense.
Number one offense because of Lamar Jackson.
Okay, great. That's like saying when Peyton Manning had the number one offense, it's because of him. Like, it's just whatever.
You say to waste it. No, like he
did. There was they showed I saw it because of the trade. They were, everything's popping up on Twitter or X now. Sorry, and there was a graphic of teams that had both the number one ranked offense and defense in the regular season. There were, I think, 5 teams on the graphic. 4 of them won the Super Bowl. The Ravens didn't even make the Super Bowl. Who's that on? That's on Lamar.
It's a team stat. That's a team thing. I understand, yes, the quarterback is the most important player out there.
All right, dude. Okay. I'm so over this. No. I'm so over this.
No, I'm not. Because Lamar gets so much hate.
I think he has
so much hate.
It might not even be one. I think it's one or none playoff wins when his defense allows more than 14 points. That's not on Lamar?
You do want to go back and speak about all the sells we've had from his receivers in the last 3 years? Because we always talk about Lamar. We saw
as we should. He's the quarterback.
We saw Mark Andrews fumble the ball in Buffalo. What was that, last year? Fumbled the ball in Buffalo and then dropped the game-tying
Lamar
two-point
had
conversion.
2 turnovers that game that were absolutely terrible.
All right,
he was scrambling late, drops the ball. He had the interception down the right sideline where he just overthrows his receiver. Then you go to the year that they were the 1 seed at home versus the Chiefs. He has multiple turnovers in that game. What are we talking about?
Right?
Listen,
then the year before.
We know who he is in the regular season. We're tired of hearing about that. No one cares what he does. Go win another MVP. That's great. We know that he's super, super talented. But when it comes down to it, he doesn't perform his best in the biggest games. All it takes is one game to erase that. We're not asking for – it's not like Lamar's some bum that needs an incredible season to turn his career around. No, he's a fantastic quarterback. But he does need a playoff game, like an AFC championship game, where he performs and wins the game himself to change the narrative about him in the playoffs. That's not crazy. Right now, in his prime, he has wasted some of the best rosters in the NFL. I know, listen, the past 2 years, their defense has not been as good. That's fair enough to say. But before that stretch from like 2023-24 season and behind that, I mean, I know he was injured one of those years late in the season as well, but they've had probably the best roster in the NFL every single year. That's why
untrue.
What do you mean untrue? Every year they're favored to win the Super Bowl.
Defensively, they have a great defense every year. One of the best. That's what makes the roster so good. Go and look at the receivers he's played with. some of the most important guys that a quarterback needs. You go and look at his receivers.
They've drafted 100 guys for this dude. He doesn't elevate his receivers. He doesn't elevate them.
When they go
That's
elsewhere,
not the system they want to run. They're a run-first team with 2 elite tight ends. They have had a good O-line in the past. It's not a wide receiver featured offense.
And let's speak about the O-line this year too. They played some of the worst.
I said this year.
I'm telling you.
This year, the roster wasn't as good, but in years past, it was. But now they got Maxx Crosby. There's no more excuses. Before the past 2 seasons, their defense has been top 5 in scoring the whole time. So at some point, the offense has to do something. So you can blame the receivers. That's not the offense they want to run it. So let me ask you a question. If the receivers are such a problem, why can they light it up in the regular season? No problem. But then when it comes down to crunch time, everything turns into a disaster.
There's a lot of things when you watch Lamar that you can't see in the stat sheet. And for some reason, we tend to forget that. The amount of times where he evades an insane amount of pressure and you saw it in the Steelers game multiple times where he made something happen out of nothing. So let's not sit here and lie about it, right? We've seen Lamar literally make something come from literally nothing in a game.
Ridiculous.
No,
all because you can't admit that when they lose in the playoffs, it's genuinely his fault most of the time.
So we're not going to talk about the fumbles that we've seen. Zay Flowers is 5'8", and it's Lamar Jackson's wide receiver one. That is his wide receiver one.
When your quarterback is consistently committing multiple turnovers in the biggest games of his career,
because
it's a problem.
It's him, and the offense is him, and that's it. It starts and ends with him.
Him and that's it. Okay, Derrick Henry now. Him and that's it.
Derrick Henry, Mr. Fumble all year, too. The football security was a problem with him.
Whatever. This year is different. They weren't. The roster wasn't as good. They weren't as good as the team this year. Like, this year is a different story. Now, what I will say about this year, you brought up the game versus Steelers. I was thinking about this trade, and I thought to myself, if the Ravens had Maxx Crosby in that game, the Ravens probably win. The Steelers probably don't go to the playoffs because the pass rush was an issue for the Ravens this year. And that was like one of my first thoughts. Like, if they had Maxx Crosby in that game, they probably win it. So, listen, another big upgrade for the Ravens. They just keep swinging, and they're doing whatever they can to win now. I mean, as a Steeler fan, I'm still not too worried. The Ravens hype over the past 5 to 7 years has been, through the roof. And, since 2020, the Steelers have dominated the Ravens, even with all these, bum quarterbacks that we've had outside of Aaron Rodgers. So, and obviously Ben at the end of his career. But, everything in between Ben and Rodgers has kind of been just one big mess, and still have success versus the Ravens. So, I don't really want to hear it, but nonetheless, same amount of Super Bowls.
I don't know. I feel like we got to give
a while, but listen, good for them. Good for them. They're trying to do everything they can. Like you said, Joe Burrow's probably just annoyed as hell. I mean, like you said. So what's that? Yeah, 6 times a year he's got to worry about elite edge rushing, and their O-line situation is nothing good to begin with. So pretty bad day to be a Bengals fan. I don't know about the whole AFC North, but Bengals fan for sure.
Yeah, this is actually their 4th time ever trading a first round pick in franchise history. They did it in 2003, 2010, and 2012. So this is new for.
Oh, that was another thing I was going to say. I think it's a really good trade. I don't want to go maybe even a great trade, but I don't know if I would go as far as fantastic. I mean, maybe it is. Like the production he will give this year is most likely going to be really good, but I just think that anytime you're trading multiple first round picks for a guy that's over 30 years old, I just think it's just there's a inherently scary thing about that. First round picks are so valuable in the NFL, especially when you have a really good front office like the Ravens, who they draft consistently at a very high level. So to give up 2 first round picks for a guy that's over the age of 30 can be I think it's just a little bit scary. That's all. But other than that, I don't see any red flags with this trade. I think it's a win-win because the Raiders obviously need picks. They need to rebuild, and the Ravens are in win now. So good for them. I'm sure, obviously the hype will be through the roof, and we will watch Lamar choke again in the playoffs eventually this
is my thing, though. We want to talk about choking. I feel like Lamar gets all this hate, but we see other quarterbacks go out there and choke like crazy. Another quarterback that gets a lot of love, like Josh Allen, goes out there with 4 turnovers, and the discourse is, "Oh, I feel bad for him. Let's cradle Josh Allen.
The media crippled him. The media crippled him.
The media crippled Lamar last year. We're going to cradle Josh Allen, make sure he's okay. Oh, he's all right. He's got Haley Seinfeld at home. Yeah. We got to give the same discourse for each quarterback. 4 turnovers. Lamar has 4 turnovers in a game. The way the media would treat him would be insane. That's my thing. It's got to go both ways with him. And I know it's different for you because you're a Steelers fan, so you have a rivalry with him. But I'm talking about the rest of the nation and NFL fans in general. We got to relax. I
don't know. I just think there's just differences. And like the Bills are more of a passing offense to begin with. And you want to talk about not having weapons. Like Josh Allen is an absolute gunslinger.
But
the dude's got probably the best arm in the
weapons.
NFL. He doesn't. I know. But this is my point. Like the Ravens cater more to a run-first offense. I mean, so do the Bills, but I think that's
partially because of Lamar.
It's an obvious statement that Allen is a better passer than Lamar. He has a better arm. So you think a guy like that should have a better wide receiver one. Like that's the offense they want to run.
I feel like we just forget that he had Stephon Diggs for multiple years.
I'm just so out of it. We're talking about the Maxx Crosby. I just forgot that the Bills got DJ Moore. Like I just we completely
Does that
forgot
move the needle for you?
I don't know. I listen. I like the move because he's a big run after catch guy, and a lot of what the Bills do is run after catch. A lot of quick throws, get it into your playmakers' hands, which they don't have a lot of. But like Shakir, like he's great little quick gadget guy. But DJ Moore will be a much better weapon for Josh Allen. But I just don't think like when you think of like at this point of DJ Moore's career, even over the course of his entire career, when I'm thinking playoffs, 3rd and 5, you need a guy to win the route. I'm not thinking DJ Moore, and I think Josh Allen needs a guy like that. Like Josh Allen should have a dominant wide receiver one. I mean, I guess every elite quarterback should, but like I still almost feel like it's still gonna fall on Allen's shoulders to make the play on like a critical 3rd down. Kind of the same as Lamar, to be honest. Like they both kind of have that feel where other quarterbacks, it's like you expect someone to win the route and they're just going to make the throw, not necessarily make the play, but just make the throw. I think there's a difference. People will understand that, but like you think of like Jamar Chase winning a route, Justin Jefferson winning a route, Smith and Jigba winning a route, and then the quarterback just has to make the throw. Whereas like Allen, Lamar, and even Mahomes, ever since Tyreek left, they have to make the play. So, I mean, listen, good for Josh Allen. He got himself another weapon. I still think the Bills should draft a receiver high up and really try to make that receiving core like solidified, firing on all fronts, kind of like the Bears did. You had the veteran presence of DJ Moore, but then they get a Dunze, and then the following draft they get Luther Burden. Like, so now obviously they don't have Moore anymore, but they had a good mix of young and veteran
and they got
talent.
Loveland too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They're building something over there. That's my next question, or like my next topic was going to be like the Bears. Them getting rid of DJ Moore because I know they sent a pick with Moore to the Bills. So I don't know, like. I don't know
what they only got a mid-round pick back. I don't think it was anything like crazy. But
I know. I think what the Bears are picking, obviously, in that last third of picks in the first round. But
it was a 2nd round pick, and
okay.
I don't know. I think it's a good trade for them. But the Bears, listen, they got something going. I think. It kind of looked like the chemistry between Caleb and DJ Moore was off kind of that whole like season. I feel like those two like never really clicked. I could be wrong. Maybe they have great chemistry off field. Like it didn't look like it. So maybe they're just thinking like we have these young guys that Caleb's going to be with anyway. You have Loveland, who's not your just like, traditional tight end where he's like more athletic, more of a receiving threat. So maybe they figure, hey, like we don't really need to hold on to more, obviously bigger cap hit, and they get rid of that. Maybe they draft another receiver in a later round. They also have, even a guy like Zacchaeus, I think, like he's like kind of like a little speedster that they have. See,
I don't think you're wrong about that. You go and look at DJ Moore's stats, and he had 1,300 yards in 23. He had 23-24 season, and he was 30 yards shy of 1,000. In the 24-25 season. And then last year, only 682 yards. And I don't really blame him for that. It was a new system with Ben Johnson. He's got a 2nd-year quarterback who's starting to figure it out. And then they also bring in multiple pass catchers. So they had a lot of pieces there, and I understand them, getting rid of that cap space, and they're going to probably go back to the draft and maybe pick up another receiver. I don't know what the Bears' number one major need is, but obviously the Bills needed a major number one receiver.
Something defensively, I would say, for the Bears.
But no, they look good. I mean, and going back to that Maxx Crosby trade, I saw a video. It was I guess Jamar Chase was playing, video games online, or he was streaming or whatever it was. And I guess he was on the phone with someone, and he said, "Yo, Joe just texted me," as in Joe Burrow just texted me that the Ravens just got Maxx Crosby. And you could just hear how angry he was. And I'm thinking his initial thoughts is, oh yeah, he's never going to hit that 2K, or he'll never hit that, that threshold of, I mean, the Bengals, we should do a segment on them sometime soon, closer to the draft, but they got to figure it out, from an organization standpoint. Their direction has just confused me these last 2 or 3 years, but I'm speechless with their, I'm a Giants fan, and I know our front office hasn't made the right decisions in the last 3 years. Number one being Saquon Barkley and the Daniel Jones situation. Just watching that whole Hard Knocks was just excruciating for me. But I do need to speak on the Bengals at some point soon. But however, we can't, because it's March. And March means it's starting to heat up.
We got to see after their draft. But yeah, March is heating up. Go ahead.
College basketball. So what we're going to do to start this segment, we've had a lot of big wins, big L's in the college basketball world. We are going to ask each other questions on college basketball teams. We're going to go with, are they contenders or are they pretenders? My first one for Rob is going to be the Florida Gators.
So I have a question before we get into this, and I will answer the question. So when you say contender, when I think of contender, I think can they contend for a national title? You're not asking me will they win, correct? You're just saying can they make it to the national title game?
I think the basis of this question is, can they make it to the national title game?
Yeah, contending for it. Yeah,
if you can make it to the national title game, anybody can win that game, right? That's a contender.
We went over last week the stat, but I will say they're a contender.
Okay. All right. We got next.
They're just, I don't know. They're playing really well. They're playing well at the right time. That alone makes you, a dangerous team. And then obviously we know they have a really good coach, won the national championship last year, returned some guys.
All right,
they're a contender.
I'm going to ask a second, and then you're going to ask me too. First one, or the next one we got is the Michigan Wolverines.
Pretender. People aren't going to like it, but I haven't been high on Michigan all year. I don't think so. Again, they don't have, their guard play is just not good enough for me. I don't know. And then again, I'm not a big fan of Big Ten basketball. They haven't won a national, Big Ten hasn't won a national title since 2000. So that alone, Michigan is a pretender. They're, great defensively, but I don't think that when they get to the Final Four, maybe even Elite Eight, they'll play a really good team. And I just think that they'll get into a defensive slugfest, and I just don't see them, making enough shots down the stretch. I don't know. I've never been high on Michigan. I'm not really high on any Big Ten team ever. So I'm going to go with pretender for Michigan. James, first team I have for you is the Duke Blue Devils.
Normally, I'd say, young team, too many young pieces, and they're not going to get it done because, come Final Four, it's hard to win with a bunch of young guys. You're in an NFL stadium. It's hard. The atmosphere is ridiculous. I'd say pretender. But this year, this Duke Blue Devil team is so well built. And I was watching a clip. Duke posted it a few weeks ago. I was watching a clip, and it's halftime Duke-Michigan game. And you watch, John Schreier, he comes in there and he gives his quick halftime spiel, and he lays down what we got to do moving forward. And just the way he speaks to his players, I would love to play for a coach like that. That's a player's coach in a way. He fully understands, sitting in their position, and the way he speaks with them, it's just oh my gosh, this guy is going to be a legendary coach down the line. And after he leaves the floor, you watch the team. This is a group of young guys. The team is now talking to each other on what they got to do moving forward in the second half to win the game. Like, I could not believe the team aspect in that locker room, the camaraderie, like the way they were talking to each other and communicating on a first name. It was just like amazing to see. And like, I honestly think that's the type of stuff that it takes for a team to win it all. You know, that togetherness and that unit moving forward. So that alone kind of scared me. I haven't been a supporter of Duke my whole life. Like, obviously I love watching like that Zion year with, you know, Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett, but that literally scared me. Like, they might get a bracket out of me. I never would have picked them.
It's not crazy. You know, people can always say, "Oh, it's cap," like you're lying. But I remember they haven't won since 2015 when they beat Wisconsin. I remember. I think that's the last time, and I was only 12 years old. But I remember picking Duke that year to win it all. I really do put, cap. No, get my dad on the phone. He will attest to this. But I think that's like the only time I've picked Duke to win it all. Maybe back then it was like just a lucky pick on my end. I was super young, but like you said, like just I feel like, you know, they've choked a lot of really good teams where they just haven't gotten over the hump and won it all. But I agree. I think this year they are a true contender because they have multiple guys that can go get you a bucket. They play really good defense. I saw now they have the longest, you know, active home winning streak in college basketball. At least that's what the graphics said yesterday. 31 straight games at home. So no, I agree. They're firing on all cylinders, and so no, definitely agree with that take. Next team I have for you, very streaky team, even in game shooting wise. Iowa State Cyclones.
I think they're pretenders.
I'd agree.
Beginning of the year, they looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
But in this last 2 or 3 weeks, they've lost some games. And they didn't just lose some of these games. They got kind of manhandled in these games. And they've got the shooting, which that's what you need to travel into March and travel into the tournament. But the Big 12 is a beast, and I can't blame them. Like, there's about 10 teams in the Big 12 that I think are could be Sweet 16 elite 8 teams. Like, it's that great. But just the way they've lost some of these games, like you watched that. They lost to BYU. That was weird. That Arizona game.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get behind it. They're not going to get a bracket out of me. The Cincinnati loss, the Kansas loss, I can't get behind it. The Texas Tech loss too. It's not a good, momentum transfer going into the tournament. However, we'll see what they do in the Big 12 tournament.
They also I feel like they just haven't performed well in the tournament itself. And I know especially with the transfer portal now and NIL, every year is so different. But I just feel obviously just historically some programs perform better in the tournament. I just feel like the past few years they've had really solid teams. The program has good. Yeah, they're really good again this year. But past few years, it's like they've gotten to the tournament and they just haven't performed.
Yeah,
so.
You look at their team stats, and nothing jumps off the board to me. Their wins are what jumps off the board, but they're 67th in points per game, and I know it's a little bit flawed because there's certain conferences where the teams are just blowing every team out the water, but nothing their rebounds, they're not high. I guess you could say their assists per game, they're tied for 35th, and that's great, but they don't have a guy. I feel like every team in that top 5 has a guy that they can rely on, right? I look at the top 5 right now, and you look at Duke. Obviously, they have Boozer. You look at that Michigan team. You look at Florida or not Florida. You look at Arizona. They got Jaden Bradley. A lot of these teams have a guy that I know you can trust down the stretch. So I don't know. They're pretenders for me. They're not getting the bracket out of me. I'm gonna move forward with that. All right. So next team here, we're gonna get past that those first 5 teams. I'm gonna pick the Houston Cougars.
Pretenders. That's not even a question. I'm not even going to explain that. They're pretenders. They always are. Same story, different year. Great defense. They'll make it to the Elite 8 at least, and then it'll be the same thing. Oh, can't hit a shot late in the game. Yeah, pretender, no doubt.
All right. And then This one kind of interesting to me, but Michigan State.
Pretender. Another Big Ten team. I've watched enough of their games this year where they just struggle to hit threes and make shots, and it's like, nope, same again, same thing as like kind of Houston. Whereas like the past few years, Michigan State, it's like good defense, really good head coach that you trust in March, but they just don't hit enough shots. They literally just don't make enough threes. They don't hit enough shots to win these games, and you need to be able to do that come March. So. Again, when we're talking about title contenders, not a chance. Sorry. I'll stick with the Big Ten. Team that's kind of went from being one of the biggest stories earlier in the season and now just kind of faded off. Still hanging around the top 10, Nebraska.
Oh, pretenders. Huge pretenders. Honestly, if it's not Michigan in the Big Ten, I'm snoring. Beyond snoring. I'm slumber. Any word you could think of for sleep. The Big Ten, like Rob said, they haven't won since 2000? Yeah. The Big Ten, we got a segment later on for you guys where we're going to rank each conference, but the Big Ten, I like to say the competitiveness is really even throughout the conference, except for our Penn State Nittany Lions, who I'm kind of speechless about. But it's great competition. It's not top heavy. However, they don't have those top-heavy teams outside of Michigan. And again, I don't think Michigan is seriously about it come tournament time. I think they'll probably be bouncing in the Elite Eight, which, yes, that's a great feat. But
so what about Nebraska pretender?
Pretenders.
So what about the 8th-ranked team, according to Ken Palm, the Purdue Boilermakers?
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about the Purdue Boilermakers, who time and time again have shown that they are not about it. Like. If it wasn't for Zach Edey in those years, and I know Braden Smith is a great player, he's a great point guard, but if it wasn't for Zach Edey, they would have obviously, and this is not like a rocket, like not like I'm saying anything that's not like crazy information, but they wouldn't have been as successful as they were.
No, not at all.
But they are
they're
beyond
6 and 7 in their last 13 games now.
Like if I see in our bracket group, if I see someone pick a Purdue, team or Purdue to win it all, they're getting a text from me. I want to hear what they thought they saw that put this team as a contender to begin with, but to win it all, insane. But yeah, that right there is probably the number one pretender along with like Gonzaga. But yeah,
I didn't even include them on the list to ask you because that's a given. There's no point in even asking a question like that with Gonzaga.
Absolutely.
A couple more teams here though. I'll give you another one. Kansas.
This is.
I know. I think this might be the hardest one to answer. I really do because when they're at their best, it looks like they can win a natty. I really do. So I don't know what you think.
I heard this quote the other night. It might have been from Lenardi. Kansas goes as far as Darren Peterson can take them. However, we don't know how far and if he can.
He had 20 plus off the bench, dude. He's so.
No, like he literally, I think he's the number one pick. I don't know if it's him or DeBonsta. I feel like it depends on what the team needs.
And now they're both saying they might come back, which I don't believe at all.
It's the same gimmick Cooper Flagg pulled last year. But that's a hard one. That's a tough one for me because great team. Like Flory Badunga, Melvin Council Jr., like that team is like a well-oiled machine, it feels like. And then people are like talking about earlier this year that, Kansas plays better without Darren Peterson, and that whole thing started, and then all the, the outside noise started to come into that building. And at the end of the day, they have a Hall of Fame, one of the greatest of all time coach, Bill Self.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the best teams he's had in a long time.
Yeah.
So I think no matter what, just with that alone, Bill Self, great roster, a great scoring number one option presence, great guard play, and you have a great big. Like that's everything you need to be a contender.
What worries me is just the tournament is not played at Allen Fieldhouse. That's the problem. They're great at home, but the national championship is on a Monday. It's not. It won't be at Allen Fieldhouse, but it is on a Monday. We know how Bill Self is on big Mondays. But
I think
I don't know. They just worry me on the road. Maybe neutral site will be better for them, but I don't know. At times, I thought they were going to make the Final Four again. Now they're slated to be in the same region as UConn, which I don't love, but I still think Kansas can easily make a run that if they make it to the Final Four, even the national title game, like I don't think anyone should be like, wow, I'm so surprised. Like, no, they have the makings to do it. Yeah. If they get bounced in the round of 32, I don't think anyone should bat an eye because that's kind of the season that they've had. So neither of us have asked about the teams that we picked for the national title or national title last week. Like, is that a given?
Yeah, I feel like that's a given.
Okay.
Rob picked UConn.
Yeah, one of them just had a bad loss. So
and I picked Arizona. See, if it wasn't, I would say that loss yesterday to UConn would scare me, and I wouldn't pick them in a bracket.
Yeah.
However, they have shown me, after that St. John's game, they showed me that they can really get it done. And I'm not going to lie, yesterday was just the biggest trap game of the year for UConn. Like, senior day for Marquette. At the end of the day, it's a Shaka Smart team.
Yeah, no.
Like,
it was their Super Bowl.
Yeah. First of all, I tuned into the game, and it's on Fox. And I'm like, why is this game so loud?
No, they showed out.
They showed out. It was a good game. It was a good game from the start.
UConn deserved to lose. I mean, you shoot that bad from 3, you deserve to lose the game. Alex Caravan didn't make a single field goal. That's the first time in any game he's ever played that he hasn't made a field goal. So kind of just deserved to lose a game like that. They had a week off. Maybe it was just a lot of rust. Yeah. I don't even know why that's scheduled like that for a team to have a week off before their final game and then go into conference tournament play. That makes no sense to me. Nonetheless, terrible loss at this time of year. I did want to bring up, I was going to bring it up anyway, the whole Dan Hurley situation.
The Tech?
Yeah. No, well, I mean, he got ejected.
Yeah.
Because he already got fined $25,000 because he bumped the ref. So I had a little take on this where it was kind of just like, in no way, shape, or form am I defending him like making contact with the ref. Like there's no room for that. Like that just can't have that. But what I will say about Dan Hurley is that I think that part of like the narrative surrounding him and why people don't like him is simply because there's a narrative already. Like the media drags it out and it's like, oh my gosh, he's so insufferable. Like Dan Hurley could probably come out with like the greatest speech of all time from a coach and people be like, oh, I can't stand this guy. Like just because he's Dan Hurley and that's the narrative now. And what I will say about that is, it's because a lot of you are average and you can't relate to a guy that has greatness installed within him. And I'm being so dead serious. I know this might be controversial. I don't care. It's because he is a psycho when it comes to the game of basketball. He has something different in his mind that takes him to the next level to become a great head coach and win back-to-back national titles and get UConn back to being at the top of the college basketball world. A lot of average people can't relate to that. And that's what you need in sports. There are polarizing figures in sports that's the reason they're great, is because there's something different in their mentality that makes them great. And to a lot of average people out there, it's like, oh, that doesn't come off as likable. They're not worried about being liked. They're worried about winning and being successful. You can even take that away from sports and other fields of this world where there's the people that are the best. They're not worried about being liked. They're worried about being the best at what they do. And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of average people with average mentalities can relate to that. So I know that might be, ruffle some feathers and be hard for some people to hear, but, some people say that you should be able to do both, be great and also be, super nice while doing it and humble. That's not who Dan Hurley is. If you don't like it, too bad, but stop dragging out the narrative.
See, you mentioned maybe in other aspects in the world, like that doesn't fly, but I'd argue it does. Everyone talks about, you got to kind of be a little bit crazy to be successful in all aspects of life. But I'm going to keep it to sports. You look at the Kobe Bryants of the world, the Tom Brady's of the world, your Mike Tyson's, all of that. You got to be a little bit crazy in the head. And it might seem crazy to normal people in the outside world. He's a little off. But no, to be great, you have to be a little bit crazy. And that's just what comes with greatness.
Especially college basketball coaches. I feel like that. Yeah. If you look at any great college basketball coach, they always have not insane controversy. Edge. I was gonna say not controversy to them, but there's an edge with them. So I think it just kind of comes with it. I mean, you look at a guy like Tom Izzo, John Calipari, Like you either kind of love that, like the fire they have in them, or you're kind of like, oh, it's too much. Well,
Yeah,
that's kind of why you're sitting watching and they're coaching, but that's a different story. So,
I don't
know. I love that kind of stuff. I think you need like polarizing figures like that in sports. It kind of just like keeps everything rolling, keeps things fresh. I don't know, but and that's also part of the reason why I still have a lot of faith in UConn is because they have a coach like that who probably after a loss like that went into that locker room and just absolutely shredded his team. And I know that they'll be ready for the tournament. I'm not worried about it. I think they'll be ready. One last team I wanted to bring up for just contenders and pretenders, and then we can move on to a different segment. But Texas Tech, who lost last night versus BYU, but do you think they can make a run and contend for the national title?
So again, another team. I feel like the Big 12 this year is kind of like the SEC last year, where there's just so much talent, so many great rosters, so many well-coached teams. And it really hurts me that they lost JT Toppin because this literally could have been their year to win it all. And I'm not going to say they're not contenders because, you know what? I'm going to say they're contenders. I'm going to say they're contenders because
not crazy.
They can win 6 games. Nothing like shows me that they can't win 6 games. Like they've been playing great even without Toppin, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they get to an Elite 8 or a Final 4, what is the only thing stopping this team is literally just March being March in itself, I feel like. If they get to an Elite 8, right? Like I know they lost to BYU again. It was on the road. That's a really hard place to win, and that's a game that literally decided almost BYU's season. Like if BYU loses that game, you know, their postseason looks a little different. They lose their seeding in the Big 12 tournament looks a little different. So they played their hearts out too. I'm going to say Texas Tech, they're still contenders. I know a lot of people will be like, they lost their star player. It's tough, but that's a team. It's a well-coached team. They play, again, I said it last week. They have a great half-court offense and a great half-court defense.
Yeah.
The type of stuff that we've seen out of Dan Hurley coached teams and that Florida team from last year where that's what you need in March. Even Kansas 5 years ago. Those teams were great in the half court on both sides of the floor.
Yeah.
Texas Tech is that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if they can win those first 3 games, those first 4 games, what is stopping them from winning 2 more outside of, again, March being March and they have to play another talented team, and it comes down to the wire, right? And they've had some heartbreaking losses in the last few years too, so I think they're contenders.
Yeah, right now Lenardi's got them as a 4 seed in the same region as Gonzaga, Illinois, and Arizona. So I think they can beat Gonzaga and Illinois. I think the game versus Arizona would be a really good game. I mean, I think it helps that they're in the Big 12, so they'll be battle tested. They're solid. I said one more team, but just one word answer on this team because they've been playing better as of late. Alabama.
Rob and I actually went to, along with our producer Oscar and another good buddy of ours, Anch, we went to that St. John's Alabama game earlier this year at the Garden. And our initial reaction was, oh my goodness, this team is for real.
Mm-hmm.
However, they had a little bit of a rough patch in January, February, where they dropped some games where they didn't look great. Huge win yesterday, Iron Bowl versus Auburn. My one word I guess I can say, I'm confused. They confused me.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to get a contender pick. They're not going to get a national title pick out of me, but I can see them making a deep run in this tournament. A deep run. Again, another well-coached team. You know, they had the SEC again, great conference. But I just don't like how they're streaky in a way. They're a streaky team. So I don't know.
They have to shoot lights out.
Exactly.
And they're just that's their thing. Their pace, I think points per game, I think they're up there.
Yeah.
Top in the country. Pace is up there. Yeah, all those things are like right at the top in the nation. So it's kind of hard to do that when you can't like slow it down and play the opposite way. It's kind of hard to contend for a national title, but they live and die by that. So we'll see what happens. So that was contenders or pretenders. why don't we get into our about it, not about it of the week? My about of the week, I'll make this one quick. I know we were talking about Vegas earlier. The Wynn Hotel in Vegas was an absolutely amazing experience for me. The best breakfast buffet I've ever been to in my life. I sent the boys a video. It took me 1.5 minutes to record the entire buffet. To walk from one end to the other and do like a loop, it was 1.5 minutes. Shower pressure, the water pressure in the shower was fantastic, which you don't see that in hotels. Like, I mean, it's true that that's one thing I hate about staying in hotels. Usually you go, you turn the shower on and the water's just trickling out and you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But this thing was firing out. The gym, unbelievable. I walked through the spa. I didn't use anything, but the spa looked really nice. Gym was super cool. The pools were nice. Casino itself, like, I don't know. I had a great experience. So my about of the week was just the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas. And I said it was one of the best hotels I ever stayed at. Some people were like, oh, well, good thing you said young, humble opinion because there's a lot better. I don't know about what I also meant was relative to size. Like the Wynn Hotel is absolutely huge. Like it's a huge hotel. So relative to size, I think it's one of the best hotels that you'll find. Like obviously there's those boutique hotels that you find like overseas in Europe where it's like, yeah, you're obviously going to rank them ahead of that, but you know, they only have 100 rooms total. So it's hard to really compare, but yeah, I'll go with the Wynn Hotel. James, you're about it of the week.
Quick comment. I saw Wynn actually commented on your post. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was sick.
A lot of people were giving a bunch of different, I saw someone commented the Palazzo rooms are better than Wynn. Someone said, fight me in the comment section. I mean, yeah, a lot of people had thoughts about your Vegas take. But yeah, my about it of the week is the World Baseball Classic. Mm-hmm. I mean, this tournament, this speaks for all sports. When you watch players play for something bigger than them and it's their nation, it brings something out of these guys, right? Like it brings something out of them. And maybe this is why, like, growing up, I was on a vacation and it was during the World Cup, I believe 2014, Brazil. That's correct, right? Watching that with like family and friends, that like fully encompassed me. I loved watching like the passionate players played with for their nation. So seeing the World Baseball Classic, turn into what it's become has been awesome. Like watching that Dominican Republic game and seeing Junior Caminero hit that home run and run around the bases with the amount of passion. It's like you're watching like these grown men. They're playing a child's game. You see the child in them light up. Mm-hmm. They are playing for their nation, and it's some of the best stuff to watch. Like even Judge's home run, right? I've never seen as Judge is like he's such a like well-mannered guy. He's a great guy. He's always strictly business, but to see him run around the bases, he cracked a smile. He was amped up. And to see that out of Aaron Judge, I mean, it's been awesome. Like, I love this tournament. I know they've got games in Japan, games in Miami, games in Houston, games in Puerto Rico. Like, even watching the Dominican Republic when they were in the Dominican Republic for their exhibition games, like, the crowd was loving it. And I love this. I love how baseball is starting to grow. We get to see it in the Olympics in 2 years as well. This is just awesome. Like being able to turn this on right before the season too for the MLB has been amazing. And even
these are just pool games.
Just pool games.
That's like
it's awesome. Off the
charts.
And then another aspect of the tournament that I love is you get to see young guys who have not made it to the majors yet, and guys who've maybe retired. Like Didi Gregorius is playing for Team Netherlands. Like that's awesome to see. But young guys come out there and they have to pitch against some of the greatest stars in the game, right? Like I saw Will Hill, who was I saw him pitch the other night for Great Britain, and you could just see the passion that he was pitching with. This kid was so amped up every time he laid a pitch down. He would step off the mound with just the amount of like adrenaline that just was coming out of his face. You could see it. It's awesome to watch, man. And I love this tournament. I hope it continues to grow and get bigger. And I hope the game itself grows as well. So this has just been awesome.
Yeah, no, I was going to say like performances like this, especially from your main guys. I mean, Ohtani had a grand slam. Judge hits a home run his first at bat. The game versus Great Britain, Schwarber kind of hits that bomb and kind of just gets everything going for the U.S. Like, or excuse me, performances like that are just so important for any sport. Like when you have something where it's the world display, not just in like the MLB, NBA, NFL, but when you have something where it's incorporating all these countries and your best players are showing out, like that's so important. I know like, we talk a lot about like growing the game for baseball. Obviously, we mean with more so the younger generation, because we know, from a global standpoint, baseball is already a huge game, but obviously with the younger generation, kind of the hype around baseball has kind of died down a little bit. So, no, really cool for baseball.
Yeah,
a lot of passion being played with that.
Yeah, and I also just want to give a quick shout out to my childhood buddy, Miles Langhorne. Got to see him pitch against Team USA yesterday. That was just a surreal moment. Like, I feel like 4 years ago, we were sitting in the bleachers at Yankee Stadium, and now I'm watching him on TV. That was awesome to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not about it of the week.
Not about it of the week. I could probably go on for an hour about this, but I'll just try to keep it quick just for this week, because it will come up again at some point. My not about of the week is any Kobe Bryant slander. Like the recent Kobe Bryant slander has just gotten out of control. I'm truly so sick of it. And last week I reached a tipping point when I saw a video and multiple tweets talking about how people actually believe SGA is a better player than Kobe Bryant. I'm sick of it. I really am. I feel like we're just forgetting how good Kobe Bryant actually was. Kobe Bryant averaged 35 points per game in a season and made all NBA first team defense. Don't ever tell me that SGA is a better player than Kobe Bryant. At least not now. Maybe one day we'll get there. Don't ever state. I don't want to hear about advanced analytics and what he. No. Okay, I don't want to hear it. I mean, just think about the teams that SGA had surrounding him in the spacing of the court. If Kobe was able to have that, I mean, when he was winning with Powell was averaging 17 a game. Like the spacing of that team was nowhere near as good as the spacing it was for Shea. Listen, Shea's an unbelievable player. He's not in the same conversation as Kobe Bryant, but this is also coming from someone who loves Kobe, thinks Kobe is the third best basketball player ever in the history of the sport, which I know a lot of people don't like. But I said I'll keep it short because I could go on for a long time. So let me just end it there. Kobe Bryant slander, absolutely disgusting. It's getting out of control. James, do you have a not about it of the week?
I wish I could go off of that. I feel like I don't know what's going on.
We'll double down on it.
Growing up, it felt like it was Kobe's NBA. And then all of a sudden...
Not felt like, it was.
Yeah, and then he passes away, and you have a bunch of cowardly NBA players come out and now speak on the man's name as he's passed away. Like, I don't... That's just disgusting. It's a disgusting
I can't
comparison.
Just can't do it.
The Thunder were 8-4 without SGA. They beat a great Cavs team, a Cavs team that is actually favored to win the East. The Thunder just beat the Cavs a few weeks ago. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. That's a disgusting comparison. We got to move on from that. My not about it is kind of about the NBA. It's the NBA these past 5 years or so. And this is kind of a nod to Victor Wembanyama. He played, I think it was close to 40 minutes in a back-to-back game after beating the Pistons the night before and then being down by 25 versus the Clippers. And he mentioned how this is one of the most, like, this is probably the hardest game of his career. And to see that in the regular season, to see like passion like that,
crying after the game,
it's so refreshing. And it's kind of like shame on the NBA these past 5 or 10 years where we don't get to see this type of stuff in the regular season. I think the last amazing regular season game I saw was maybe like that 2016 or 2017 Christmas. I forgot which one it was. Like, it was like Warriors Cavs. That was one of the best games I've ever watched in my life. But to see that out of Victor Wembanyama, this kid's the face of the league. I know they always ask all these guys, Ant, do you want to be the face of the NBA? And Ant will say, nah, like Wemby. Like these guys, no one wants to be the face of the NBA. Wembanyama is your face of the NBA.
No doubt.
That's the type of stuff. We're seeing rivalries. Like, we're seeing the Spurs and the Thunder go at it now. We're seeing like that. It feels like we're seeing like real competitive basketball. And that's not to say, yes, the NBA has been competitive, of course, these last 20 years. But it feels like not like hate, but like that old-fashioned like competitive hate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that stuff we saw with the Celtics and Lakers.
I think he has a genuine hate for Chet. Like
no.
at least it seems like it.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's good for sports. So
that's what you need. That's that competitive nature. And that again, I've been saying it these last 4 or 5 episodes that like the NBA needs to invest in this young man. He is everything. I know he's not a guy from America, and I don't think that matters. They're trying to grow the game anyways, right? Like
he's representing the game better than a lot of American guys. So
yeah, he's amazing, man. Yeah,
passion. That's what it boils down to. Is just passion. We talk like you saw passion in the Olympics with the U.S. hockey team and really all the hockey teams. Well, everyone competing at the Olympics. You see the passion. World Baseball Classic. Everybody loves it and gravitates towards it. You see the passion that Wemby plays with. You gravitate towards it naturally. Sticking with the NBA, I just want to talk about quickly. I just from what I've been seeing, it kind of sparked an open to work segment for me. Just all officiating in major sports is just so just terrible. It just, and I always say when I bring up how I feel about the officiating sports, I understand they have a really hard job and how everything that happens in a split second, real time. So it's hard for them to get, everything right. I'm not asking for them to get every call right, but the way the officiating has gone is it's just getting nauseating. In the NBA, the fouls that are being called, and part of that is, foul baiting from the players, and they're making it even more difficult for the refs. But this is their job. If other people perform like this in other industries, they would get fired. They would have to answer to all these missed calls. So we have to find a better system of holding these refs and umps and everything in sports more accountable, because I feel like the NHL kind of has it under control. Sure, there's some calls that kind of go, against the grain, but other leagues like MLB umpires, I know they're kind of switching to the challenge system, and are they going to use robot umpires? We'll see about that. The NFL, another year of disaster from referees, where it's just like, what are we doing? Why every week are we questioning a major call in a major game? The NBA with the constant fouls. I mean, I wasn't able to watch the whole game, but I saw the clip of the foul or some of the fouls surrounding SGA, where one was a clear charge. I don't know how they didn't call that third foul of the game.
Oh my God.
Then later in the game, he goes up for a shot, clearly not a foul. They blow the whistle, and he's like bending over to the side, which another reason that he'll never be as good as Kobe. But it's just like, officiating as a whole, either figure it out or go get a new job. Because I'm sick and tired of, like, you're seeing the best athletes in the world compete, and then some guy with a whistle is impacting, the outcome of the game. So it just really sucks when you put it like that. So I just kind of, when I saw the SGA clip versus the Knicks, that kind of just sparked a quick open to work for me.
And honestly, when I watch, that's why I love watching college basketball, because the games are called way different. Like, you watch an NBA game, and this is not a knock to the players. Like, this is literally just the league itself. Like, the officiating has to be better, because guys like SGA, guys like Luka, they're doing what's best for them. Like, if you can manipulate the officiating in a game and get to the line, why would you not? That's a part of winning, right? But then it kind of creates this discourse where everyone's hating on a player for foul baiting, and we can't stand it, and it's not good for the game. It starts with the league. Like, it starts with the league. Why are we not fixing this problem? And I feel like they do everything in their power to fix so many other issues that are non-issues. Like, there's so many things in the league that they handle. Figure out your main product to begin with. The main product has been terrible. Like, it's been terrible in the regular season, of course. But, like, watching a game, it feels like I'm either watching jacked up threes or fouls. No in between. That's how an NBA game feels right now. Like, and it sucks, because that's not what I want to watch. But it starts with the league.
And then not even, like, just also with the NBA, like, a lot of people talk about foul baiting. Let's talk about the other side of the court, where you got Lou Dort, who's allowed to just play football for, an entire game and not get fouls called on him. I mean, literally, like, you watch Lou Dort play defense, he's playing a different sport. I mean, I don't know. Some teams get away with a lot more. I mean, even as a Knicks fan, I think it was the playoffs really 2 years ago where everybody was like, why do the Knicks they're just allowed to be way more physical? Which I think at times yes, there could have been some fouls called, but there needs to be more physicality back in the NBA. So we got to stop with these cheap whistles.
Inconsistent. The referee is just so inconsistent, man. It's gross.
Yeah, not ideal by any means, but that just kind of came to my mind.
Yeah, our clubhouse call out this week. I want to go back to 2 weeks ago. Saw a comment from Jalen Suggs GOAT, and he's speaking on gotta go with Cole for the album. I believe we spoke about Don Toliver. Gotta go with Cole for the album of the year, to be honest. I don't know how you feel about J. Cole. I know you're a huge Drake fan. I'm a huge Drake fan.
I think J. Cole's great. I think he's one of the, definitely one of the best rappers of our generation, no doubt. He has a, he's a great storyteller, and he makes it a lot more relatable than a lot of other guys. But I think he's something that either you see it as you can have him on all the time because it's more of a relaxed vibe, but then other people might say, I need to be in a certain, chill mood for that because it's just so much storytelling. Listen, I think he's great, but as for album of the year, I still would go with Don Toliver just for now. I just think like the album was just overall a little bit better. But what are you thinking on that?
I J. Cole. I think he's a top 3 rapper of our generation.
Mm-hmm.
However, like some people have timeless music. I feel like his music is not timeless for me. I feel like it's like there's a limit to it. Like there's a limit to how much of his music I can listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
And he doesn't have like, how some artists, like not some artists, but Drake, he's touched multiple different genres. You don't see that with him. And like you said,
not everyone's Drake.
Yeah, I don't even know why I even brought it up, but his music is great. Like when you listen to it, he's really sometimes he's telling a story, but his classics are so great. But going back to that Don Toliver album.
Are we just keeping this rap though? Because I have to say, I don't know, that new Bruno Mars album might be the album.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep it rap.
Okay.
I gotta listen to that album. Also, that Brent Faiyaz album was pretty solid. Just great vibes. Good. Great vibes.
Because if we're gonna take it outside of rap, I'll give it to Bruno Mars. That album. He just does his thing, man. He really is I think he's one of the greatest artists of all time. I really do.
No, he is. And he's a great performer, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of times everyone talks about the music and the stats. Can they perform? Is it worth me buying a ticket to go watch and enjoy my time? I always talk about, how Gunna is one of my favorite artists. And me and Oscar went to a Gunna concert at the Garden earlier this year. And that was awesome. Like the dude didn't have a backtrack the whole like show. He had no backtrack. He knows his songs word for word, bar for bar. We've seen Drake in the last few years as well. Drake concert, awesome. I think the best concert I've ever been to in my life was a Travis Scott concert. Like he's just an incredible performer.
Mm-hmm.
But are you worth me getting a ticket, or is it better for me to listen to you when I'm in my car? Like that's a big thing for me. Because if you can perform, if you can write, and if you can sing, that puts you in that top tier. Like, can you do all of that? And again, it's gonna be Drake. Drake can do all of that, right? He's a great performer, writes great music. Travis Scott again, and Don Toliver. I think is not kind of a hot take, but he just sold 180 copies or 160 copies. He's now entered that second tier. Watch out, man, because he can perform, he can write. He kind of produces. I think he produced most of his album too, along with a committee of producers. But I listened to that album from song 118 through I think 30 times in the last month or so.
Mm-hmm.
So great.
Yeah. I know this is getting a little bit longer of an episode, but I did want to address something this week. I texted James. I got to address something on the podcast this week. It's not sports related. James does not know what I'm about to talk about. Neither does our producer, Oscar, but I had to bring it up. I really did. It's nothing with you guys, so like don't worry about that. But basically,
I'm looking at this.
No. Don't look at my computer. Don't look at my computer.
Goodness.
Because I don't want people to think that like I like crafted this up. I did like just look up a few names because you'll see why. This is just strictly off rip. So when people talk about longevity, they talk about in sports, they talk about LeBron, Tiger. Why am I forgetting who? Oh, Brady, obviously. You think about certain actors, actresses, and you talk about, J-Lo, Jessica Alba, Jennifer Aniston. You know who they don't bring up? Skirt, put the camera on me, please. Megan Fox. And yeah, this is who I'm addressing right now because she dropped a post last Monday. I know everybody's going to think this is nuts. No. This need to be addressed. She dropped a post reminding everyone she's still alive and she's still here. I don't care. She's the GOAT. It might sound crazy. Megan Fox, she is the GOAT. A lot of names get tossed around. A lot of people have come and gone. Megan Fox is forever. This is 25 years of dominance.
She's dominating.
No, she just dominated everything. A lot of talk about, who's the best looking, actress? Who's the best, best looking celebrity? Who's the baddest? As far as I'm concerned, Megan Fox never gave up the crown. Who's to say that she's always been it? She is the GOAT. I don't know. Listen, from Transformers on, that's it. Megan Fox. I had to bring it up. Because I know we're not always going to talk about just sports, and it had to get addressed because, the post came out and everybody was like, wow, she's still doing her thing. Yeah, nothing ever changed. Nothing ever changed. You bring up the Margot Robbies and Sydney Sweeney's. Listen, Megan Fox still on another tier. So, I had to bring it up somehow. I really did. So yeah, just wanted to give a quick shout out to Megan Fox.
It's a very, very interesting time to I know she had that Instagram post.
Yeah, that's what sparked it. As soon as I saw that post, I said, I'm bringing it up on the podcast because she's the greatest to ever do it. So that's all I really, I can't really say much else without people thinking I'm just crazy, but I feel as other people will relate to it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know, in terms of,
no, just everything. Think about it. She had a whole generation of young and really probably middle-aged males obsessed with her in 2007 in a movie that came out in 2007. We are now in 2026 and she's still doing her thing. So
yeah, doesn't she turn 40 soon or something like that? I believe that was everyone's like, yo, this post and she's about to turn 40. This is amazing. But all right.
I had to bring it up. I was thinking about making my battle of the week, and then I went to the win, and I was like, I'm gonna make that, and I'm just gonna talk about Megan Fox completely separate. She deserves her own segment.
I respect it. If we're gonna do that moving forward, I got a few names myself, but we're gonna keep it short this week. But yeah, man. That's a funny way to end the episode. I don't even know what to say.
End it off with a bang. What can I say?
With a bang, I guess so. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check out the Megan Fox post so you can see where the angle Rob is coming from. Because I guess she's not just dominant in terms of acting. Her last blockbuster movie, I feel like, was a few years ago. So acting may not be up there anymore. But
just go look at the post. It'll brighten your day.
All right, man.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, man. It's a great episode, a little Sunday episode. Yeah, I think we're both traveling this week.
Yeah, we're both traveling this week. Then we'll be back. I think next Tuesday we'll be back with an episode, and then maybe a second episode of the week next week. I think me and James are gonna do an episode where we're gonna pick. We're gonna fill out we're each gonna fill out an entire bracket and record it. Go pick by pick, explain our thoughts, and then release that for you guys as well before the tournament gets going. So be on the lookout for that as well. As always, we appreciate all you guys liking, subscribing, following, interacting with our content. We're going to keep it going. So make sure you're, subscribed to follow along. We got no plans of stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, man. And I was going to say, we actually got this idea. This is not a Clubhouse call out, but from Brandon F27, I believe that's Brandon Feeder. We saw your comment. We make sure we will do that March Madness episode for you. But yeah, man, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, we're getting into the groove of things. We're gonna get more and more personality out here. This is what we're doing. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm James Martin III. This is Rob Cardini beside me. Shout out our producer back there, Oscar Navarro. Thank you guys for watching another episode of the Hillside Club.